Okay, hello, and apologies for the longer than usual starting soon screen. So totally do not have the game already loaded, but this way we can listen to the opening. Hello, Johnny! I know it's a holiday weekend, but are you free on Friday? Because I would like to do more group streaming, or multiplayer streaming. Aw, thank you! Thank you for the resub. I need to remember to take advantage of next month, or in a few days. September is also known as Subtember, and all subs across the site are discounted. And so I need to remember to resubscribe to everybody. It reflects the ocean and stars, but her cry echoes around the simple loss of love in her heart, making this whole fairy tale alive. And sorrow's tender embrace. This was never meant to happen. The light of the day. But yeah, I have been really liking Fritz's route, and I'm very excited to continue it. I am so looking forward to the big reveal about Bart presumably being Fritz? Or an alternate... Oh no, my stream is kind of bad. Sorry, my stream quality. I just noticed the little friendly box that tells me, that turns between green and red, telling me if my stream is a little fuzzy. Let me just check on my Alright. Now I'm gonna just do it. Yeah, that's the vibe I was getting. So I'm gonna just check my task manager real quick, and I'm sure I have more junk up than actually needs to be up. I have a bad habit of not closing, like, anything before I start streaming. Because I know I have a good computer, but oof, yeah, what is that? Oh, hey, the very high power usage is my streaming software. Gee. I can reopen Chrome. I can just end that entire task and free up a ton of memory. Be great. What is using my CPU, though? Oh no, it's way back down. Okay. I don't know what that error is. Okay, don't worry about it. It's fine. Alright, now I'm gonna reopen a browser just to get my subtitle. Yeah, I do have a lot of tabs up. But I'm gonna reopen the Streamy browser. The one that I do the closed captioning from. But I will not reopen anything else yet. I do have a thing that snoozes tabs I'm not using. It's pretty cool. It helps with the memory problems. Alright. Start captions. We're back in caption mode. And let me know if it goes choppy again, but otherwise I'm gonna hope that... Oh my, that's my little pointer. It's all black. Why? That's weird. I want my diamond pointer. Okay, we're gonna close out of the game and reopen it real quick. This may be edited out of the VOD, if I remember. Well, the YouTube version of the VOD, because everybody gets to see all of my mistakes on my Twitch VODs, regardless of how I edit the YouTube VODs, but only for 60 days, I think. Yeah, 60 days sounds right. Alright, this time we already listened to the song, so I'm gonna skip it. But there's my pointer! Yay! Okay, we got the little crystal pointer back up and running. I've got all the tabs closed. Let's actually try this. Alright. Oh, that was a good... I liked the hug. Alright, Chapter 5. Let's just do the thing to go back. Okay, chapter 5, Revelations. Ooh. That's an exciting title. A week has passed and my days have been uneventful. I spend most of my time with Fritz, who shows me around Angiel every day that he is able. Most of the time, I actively try to keep him out of the Leverton home so that Delora can continue her investigation. Lucette, thinking to herself. Apparently, this is the only way she will let me help. At least she promised she'd tell me everything tonight. I mean, to be fair, it is pretty helpful. Distract one of the main occupants of the house so that someone else can go snooping through it is a useful thing, even if it means you also get to go out and have fun around town. Well, hopefully have fun. I'm hoping Lucette has been enjoying the outings. Alright. Oh, also, Revelations might also be her getting told about her mother, finally. Alright. Lucette. Well? Delora. Silence. This is a little hard to explain, but Alcaster is hiding something. Lucette. Delora, I already know that. Delora. You didn't let me finish. When I say something, I mean everything. There are no clues here. Lucette. Silence. Delora. Wait. Before you throw that pillow at me, I really do have to tell you something. I know how Varg knew we'd left to go back to the Marchen. Somebody put wards on this house. That somebody is alerted whenever someone crosses the threshold in and out of this place. Lucette. Is that person a witch? Delora. Could be a fairy, but considering the circumstances, I'll put my money on a witch. Lucette. Do you think Varg put up these wards? Delora. He is working for the witches, but I don't think he has the ability to put up these wards. The wards are nothing like I've ever seen. They're like fine silk strands all around the house. Lucette. Like a cobweb. Delora. Right, but you know what else I found? The web's not as strong around the back door. The door Varg took us through. That means we have a way out. Lucette, thinking to herself. A way out that will allow us to leave without Varg being notified. I do not think he will appear unless the witch who put the webs around this house finds out I'm gone. Out loud. How do we know the witch won't be alerted if we use that door? Delora. Only one way to find out. I lean against the wall of the alleyway where I'd agreed to meet with Delora and catch my breath. Out loud. I can't believe that worked. She had sent me out first, promising she would catch up with me once she had made sure the witch wasn't going to come to the Leverton household when I left. Fritz said that he was tired from all the training he had done earlier in the day and retired to bed early. That worked in our favor and made it easier for us to leave the home. Lucette, thinking to herself. She is taking longer than I thought she would. Has she been found out? I step away from the wall when I hear footsteps. Lucette, thinking to herself. Delora? Varg. Not Delora! Oh, hello, 6 card! Also, that's a whole bunch of redeems. Let me, start with the hydrate, and then I will do the stretching at the same time as grabbing the Pingu hat, because I gotta stand up for it anyway. Alright. I'm totally stretching, you can only kind of see, but I am. Hello, Ice Starmie! I am excited that this chapter is titled Revelations. I'm sure something will come out about it. Alright, I am Pingu-hatted and done some stretching. I'll do a little bit more. My arms keep disappearing, but that's okay. And now I have redeemed all of the channel point redeems. Or I have redeemed the redeems, yes. Alright. Varg, what have I told you about wandering off? Oops. Suddenly Varg is standing before me with a snide smile on his face. Lucette, shocked, thinking to herself, how did he know? Dolores said he couldn't be the witch that put up the wards. Oh, also, before I forget, not 100% sure if Johnny's still in the chat, so I'll just do the quick shout out myself. Save. As per usual, save at every choice, just in case I pick wrong. But I'm gonna lean towards, since I'm pretty confident that Varg is like an alternate form of Fritz, I'm gonna lean towards stand your ground. I also feel like, oh, okay, fair enough, I will remember that, Johnny. Okay, good. Noted. I will ask you if something comes up, but possibly not. Who knows if anything else will come up. Okay. I'm gonna go with stand your ground. Lucette, thinking to herself. He works for Sir Alcaster. He won't hurt me. I do not know how the witch plays into all of this and what his relationship is with them, but I have faith. Sir Alcaster does not want me harmed. Varg. Oh, this is a surprise. Who knew a sheltered little princess would have a backbone? Lucette. Silence. Varg. But in this case, your bravado is stupidity. Thank you, Ice Starmie. It's one of my channel point redeems, and this one is actually knitted by my husband's mother. It's very cute. It has a little flower on it too, though you can't usually see it. Right, Varg. But in this case, your bravado is stupidity. Varg takes another step forward. Though we are not touching, I can feel the suffocation of his presence. I attempt to take a step back and realize that my back is already against the wall. There is nothing more I can do. Varg. You should be afraid of me. Poor little ignorant princess. If only you knew what was in store for you. Lucette, thinking to herself. Now is no time to be a coward. Out loud. Why don't you tell me then? Varg throws his head back and laughs. Varg. You are always a surprise, aren't you? Well, I'll tell you if you ask. Very nicely. Lucette, thinking to herself. How dare he? Varg. I like that defiant look on your face, princess. Varg moves forward, so close that I can nearly feel his warmth. Lucette, thinking to herself. What is he doing? He is far too close. Varg. But I think I like the look of fear even more. Come on, I'm waiting, princess. Or do I overwhelm you? Lucette. You have no right to tell me what to do. Varg slams his hand against the wall. Kabedon! Yay! Slams his hand against the wall, effectively caging me in. Okay, come on, game. Give me a visual of the wall slam. That is such a classic. Yes! Kabedon visual! Lucette, shocked. He leans down towards me, his smile predatory, but I do not flinch away. Varg. Still so brave. I'll admit it, I'm impressed. You're interesting, princess, and a lot more fun than I thought you'd be. As thanks for the entertainment, I'll share a little something with you. Alcaster doesn't want you safe because he's a good man. The type of man he is doesn't have a heart. That man won't do anything that won't benefit him in the future. Lucette. What do you mean? Varg. Let's just say your safety is a requirement for something he wants from someone. Lucette, thinking to herself. Who? Wait. Out loud. Is that someone Sir Mithros? Varg's eerie smile stretches further across his face. Varg. Oh, so you can think for yourself. Lucette. What does Sir Mithros want? Varg. A lot of things. Ask me again when you can be more specific. Now, why don't you enlighten me? What's a good girl like you doing out at this time of night? Lucette. Yes, Ice Starmie, that's true. Varg is in a CG, which, had I any doubts that Varg and Fritz are the same person, the fact that he gets his own, like, cutscene image is a pretty strong indicator right there. Lucette. I needed some air. Varg. Is that so? Well, I'm sure you've had quite enough. So, Varg pulls back from me the moment the footsteps sound. He swivels on the spot, his body tense. I feel a hand on my shoulder and realize belatedly that it is not Varg's, and I am pulled away from his grasp. Lucette. Waltz? Waltz. Quickly! Varg. What? Varg is cut off as he defends himself when a sword suddenly strikes at his direction. Men. I would keep your eyes on me, scoundrel, unless you do not fear being skewered. Lucette, thinking to herself. That man. He was the one who was with Waltz when I was chased down the streets. His features are familiar. Is that Karma? Waltz. Come on, Lucette. Lucette. But... Waltz. We need to get you back to the Marchen. Varg. You're not going anywhere, princess. Men. Try as you might, you're not getting through me. Varg. I have to fight you, clowns? Don't make me laugh. I see Varg lift his cane, but Waltz pulls me around the corner before I can see what happens next. Lucette, shocked. What just happened? Did Varg... I turn around to check, but Waltz keeps pulling me forward. Yeah, that was like an explosive noise, not just a sword clashing noise. Huh. I have barely even stepped into the Marchen before Delora pulls me into a hug. Delora. Thank goodness you're safe. Waltz. Delora, Karma is still... Waltz pauses in surprise as an intense light erupts in the middle of the Marchen. For a few moments I am struck blind. As the light begins to fade away, I see Parfait. Her expression is grim as she holds on to the man who helped us earlier. Parfait. Waltz, please get Rumple right away. Waltz. Right away, Lady Parfait. Together we carefully set him down on the sofa. Now that I can see the injured man more closely, I come to the conclusion that I was right earlier. Lucette, out loud. Karma? Parfait. Yes, he is badly injured. Lucette, silence. Delora. Parfait, what are you doing using the teleportation spell? You know what it does to your body. Parfait. It was his cane. It was enchanted, and I didn't think... Parfait shifts on her feet before losing her balance and stumbling backwards. Delora catches her before she can fall. I mean, 6 card, I feel like you're not wrong. Waltz does get agitated pretty easily. Parfait. I didn't have a choice. He would have killed him otherwise. Delora. I was right then. I should have gone. Rumple. What's all the noise? The instant Rumple sees Karma, his puzzled expression sharpens into something more serious. Rumple strides forward with a confidence I did not expect. Right, we can, because this is one of the locked route, it's fine that we find out that Rumple is a doctor. It's only supposed to be a surprise for his route. Yeah, I like having a story order, honestly, because I like being like, it was a total surprise in Rumple's route that he was a doctor. But here, it makes total sense that it's like, ah, yes, they're calling for Rumple because he is a doctor. Rumple. I need hot water, and the bag Annis keeps in the kitchen. Waltz. I'll grab it for you. Lucette. Who is this man? Sorry, maybe not quite like that. Who is this man, and what has he done with Rumple? Parfait. Rumple recovered one of his journal entries the other day. He's remembered that he's a doctor. Lucette, thinking to herself. That doesn't really explain why his entire demeanor has changed, but I suppose that's not important right now. Parfait. I am so glad you're safe, Princess. Lucette, silence. I have never seen Parfait look this tired. Parfait, are you hurt? Parfait. Don't worry about me, princess. I'll be fine. Delora. Like any of us are going to believe that. I have so many questions for the two of them, and I have no idea where to start. My brain feels like a scrambled board full of puzzle pieces that won't fit together. Parfait. Oh, don't fuss. I really am fine. Lucette. What is going on? Parfait. Silence. Delora? Why don't you get the princess something to drink? I'll come and join you shortly. Delora sets a mug down in front of me before taking a seat beside me. Delora. Chocolate, hot and sweet. I raided the pantry for you. Lucette, thinking to herself. It smells exactly like something I'd have in the palace. Out loud. I did not know there was chocolate here. Delora. Hannes thinks she can hide it from us, but she can't. Lucette. Silence. Will Karma be alright? Delora. Rumple is apparently a renowned doctor. Karma will be fine. Lucette. I do not know how this happened. Delora. Lucette. It was just meant to be a simple test, but now Karma and Parfait are hurt because of Varg. They shouldn't have come. They did not have to come for me. Delora. But they came because they were worried about you. Lucette, thinking to herself. Why do these people care so much about me? What do they really want? Out loud. They would not have been hurt if they did not come. Delora. I went to meet you, but when I got to the plaza, you were gone. I thought there might be some magic barring me from seeing you, so I ran to the Marchen and asked for everyone's help. I messed up. They were hurt because I failed. Parfait. The only one to blame is Varg. Okay, she is right there. Lucette and Delora are in a, pity self-blame loop, and Parfait is coming in correct with the only one here who's really at fault of anything is Varg. Delora. Are you alright? You're limping. Parfait. I'll be fine. I'm just tired. Parfait takes a seat on the opposite side of the table from Delora and I. Parfait. Have you told her? Delora. No, not yet. Lucette. Told me what? Is this about Alcaster? Delora. No, it's about Varg. I waited a good half hour or so at the house after you'd left, Lucette. No one came, so I just walked out, but Fritz wasn't there. He wasn't in his room or anywhere in the house. Lucette. What? But where would he have gone? Yes! Reveal! Official reveal, I assume, is about to happen. Parfait. Princess. Fritz is cursed. You know this, yes? Lucette. Of course. He remembered me. But what does his being cursed have to do with anything? Delora. Whenever you're with Fritz, Varg never stops by the house. In fact, I've never seen Varg in broad daylight. And I've definitely never seen Fritz and Varg together in the same place at once. Parfait. I've been wondering why Varg is working for Alcaster. Then there's the fact that he wears a mask and conceals his identity. Lucette, thinking to herself. They're linking Varg and Fritz together. That's not possible. Out loud. Whatever you're thinking, it's ridiculous. Delora. So is an entire kingdom forgetting they have a crown princess. Magic works in strange and mysterious ways. Lucette, shocked. But Fritz would never. Parfait. It's only a theory, but it's more than possible that Fritz and Varg are the same person. Two personalities sharing one body. Lucette. No. I stand and ball my hands into tight fists. You're wrong! I turn to walk away. Delora. Where are you going? Princess, we're not done talking to you. Parfait. Delora, give her time. I do not go too far. I just want to give myself enough space to think. Lucette, thinking to herself. Fritz and Varg are the same? It is not possible. Why would Dolores say that? Yeah, I know, Starmie, like, I think she knows it's technically possible. She's just like, I can't accept that it could be possible that Varg and Fritz could possibly be the same person, or at least sharing a body. I think they're essentially the same person in this case. Just in different aspects. Voice. Princess! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit, oh, shit, oh, shit. Lucette thinking to herself. Yeah, right, Starmie? Like, why did they let her leave the Marchen? Because that's where they should have stopped. Like, her running to another room to gather her thoughts would have been fine, but, like, leaving the place entirely? Anyway, Lucette thinking to herself. Sir Mithros? Where did he come from? And how does he know who I am? Did Alcaster tell him? And Sir Mithros believed him? Varg. Let's just say your safety is a requirement for something he wants from someone. Lucette thinking to herself. Could it be that Sir Mithros is the someone Varg was referring to? Yeah, yes, Lucette, you literally guessed that. Yeah, also, yes, Starmie, 100%, they should also actually tell Lucette everything that's going on before someone else comes in and tells her, and then, like, how is she supposed to trust you? Mithros. Thank goodness you're alright. Lucette thinking to herself. How did he know where I was? Mithros. I am so sorry for my lack of foresight, Princess. None of this should have happened. I will serve you properly from now on with complete honesty, unlike those within the Marchen. You shouldn't have left the Leverton home. It is too dangerous for you. Lucette thinking to herself. Sir Mithros has not seen me since I have been cursed. So why is he talking to me as if he knows who I am? Not only that, but he knows I left the Leverton home. Out loud. So, you remember that I am the Crown Princess, Sir Mithros. Mithros. I cannot lie to you, Princess. Yes, I do remember. Oh gosh, yeah. This really feels like Mithros is gonna be like, hey, here's a plot dump of everything they haven't told you. Clearly, I'm the trustworthy one here. Lucette. How is that possible? Yes, I do remember. Lucette. How is that possible? Mithros. I am a witch. Lucette. Shocked. Thinking to herself. A witch? Father would never let a witch work in the palace. I feel the cogs of my mind slowly whirling, piecing together a puzzle I cannot see in full. Lucette thinking to herself. The witch who set the alarm on the Leverton home, the person Sir Alcaster wants a favor from, and the person he and Varg are working for. It's him? Mithros. But you must believe me when I say I mean you no harm. I only want to protect you from the people in the Marchen. Oh no. Alright, by the way, I'm gonna take off the penguin hat. It's a little warm. I like it, it's very cute, but it's also a little warm. Oh no. Okay. Yeah, he's totally gaslighting her. Using just enough of the truth to convince her that he is the one who is being honest and upfront and trying to help her. Lucette. Protect me? Mithros. Those in the Marchen have cursed you. It is unforgivable. When I heard what they did to Varg in order to abduct you... yes. Lucette thinking to herself. Abduct me from Varg? Out loud. Who is Varg? Mithros. You would not believe me if I told you the truth. Lucette. I believed you when you said you were a witch. Mithros. True. Forgive my assuming, Princess. I take a deep breath and look him in the eyes. Lucette. Are Varg and Fritz the same person? Mithras. Silence. Yes, in that they inhabit the same body. Lucette. Shocked. Okay, so the fact that he specifies in that they are inhabiting the same body implies that they actually are totally separate people or personalities in the same body. So we have a little bit of DID here. Nothing about it so far, but it's curse influenced, not an actual mental health thing. Though we'll see how it's done. I actually have some friends who have DID, so I am a little sensitive to it being handled irresponsibly in media, but I don't think it has been so far. Like, Varg isn't, like, it's not, like, good and evil personality split. Varg clearly doesn't want to be under the control of the witches, and, like, he's more self-serving, is my vibe. Anyway, Lucette thinking to herself, so Delora was telling the truth. But... Mithras. Aha. This is some bullshit, Mithras. It was necessary. Fritz was not willing to follow some of my orders that ensured your safety. Varg, however, is obedient and a more capable bodyguard. Nothing can be allowed to stand in the way of your safety, least of all the knight who is meant to protect you. Lucette. Are you the one who cursed him? Mithras. Yes. Lucette thinking to herself. He said that without even batting an eye. Mithras. My princess, you must believe me. Those in the Marchen are only lying to you, trying to keep you away from your destiny. They are your enemies. Lucette. How can you know that? Mithras. I do not wish to bring up uncomfortable subjects, but you must be aware of the public's opinion of you. Lucette. Yes, they hate me for some reason, and they want Emmeline to be crown princess in my place. Sir Mithras nods, his expression solemn but flickering with sympathy. Oh man, so he's gonna be the one who tells her about her mother and the Tenebrarum crystal. Yeah, guys, you really dropped the ball on that one. Parfait and Delora. Mithras. And the Marchen people have cursed you, haven't they? Such a curse keeps you from your rightful place. Lucette, thinking to herself. He is right. Mithras. I believe that you have been cursed because they see you as a threat to their true goal. Lucette, thinking to herself. Their true goal? Mithras. Perhaps they meant to teach you a lesson, so to speak, because they irrationally despise you. Such people cannot be trusted. They will only seek to use you and hurt you for their own pleasure. They will probably do anything in their power to keep you from breaking your curse. I cannot let that happen. I failed my queen in this once. I shall not fail you. Lucette, thinking to herself. Could that be true? Delora and Parfait are trying to balance the light and darkness in the kingdom, and the curse is meant to teach me. Out loud. So, could what Sir Mithras is saying really be true? What he says makes sense. I want to doubt him. We'll see if it's an actual correct choice for the love interest, but, like... Oh, yep, that makes sense. The curse kind of suppresses Fritz's brighter side and leaves his dark side without control. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. Yep. Myth is gonna be like, ah, yes, you can trust me, because I'm the one who told you the real truth. Oh, he's such a slimy bastard. Anyway, I'm gonna try doubting him. We'll find out if it was the right choice for the love interest route, best end route, or not. Lucette, thinking to herself. But it cannot be true. Right? Out loud. I don't believe you. The people at the Marchen are not... Mithras. Would good people curse you, even knowing how much you would suffer as a consequence? Yeah, the problem is he was trained by her mother, which means that he knows all the same, like, that he can just lean in on all of the gaslighting that her mother used on her for years and years and years, and just reinforce the same terrible abusive patterns. It's a problem. Lucette, shocked. Mithras. If they truly cared about you, would they curse you? Yes, okay. I was at least correct that doubting him at first was correct. It felt like the right choice. Lucette, thinking to herself. Delora might be the one who cursed me, but everyone else in the Marchand doesn't seem to think anything of it. Out loud. I do not know what to think. Mithros. I know this is difficult to believe coming from me, so why not ask them, Princess? Ask the Marchand traders if they consider you a threat. Ask if they do not intend for you to suffer beneath the weight of your curse. You will learn that I have not lied. I go back to the Marchand with dark thoughts swirling in my head. Delora. There you are. We were worried about you. Lucette. Silence. Thinking to herself. All I've been doing is trying to get answers from Delora. Why is it more difficult this time? Delora. Lucette, are you okay? Lucette. Where is Parfait? Delora. Rumple and Waltz are seeing to her. The others are all in bed. Yeah, Ice Stormy, I don't disagree. Like, the curse was a really extreme measure that was definitely not the only path that was available to them. So, like, I agree. Myth isn't totally wrong that cursing Lucette was a questionable choice. But that doesn't change the fact that he is super gaslighting her. Delora, thinking to herself. Not Delora, sorry. Blah, 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 blah. Delora, is something wrong? Lucette, thinking to herself. What do I say? How can I possibly ask them? Out loud. My throat is closing up. Did you know what would happen after you cursed me? Did you intend for me to suffer? Delora. Lucette, that's... Thinking to herself. Did she? Could Sir Mithros have been right? Anger rises up within me. Lucette. Do you know how it felt to step out in the cold without shoes, without food, not knowing if I would ever have a roof over my head again? Do you know what it was like for my own father to look at me and not see me as his daughter? I advance on Delora and she shrinks back, pointedly looking away from me. Like, that's the problem. Yeah, like, all of the things Lucette's saying are totally right. Like, Delora made a bad call here. But yes, he's absolutely, like, Myth is manipulating Lucette, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't... He doesn't have a basis with which to do so. Unfortunately. Lucette, you knew all of that was going to happen, and you still cursed me. And you call yourself good? Delora, Princess. Lucette, how could you? Delora, Lucette, I have my reasons. Very important reasons. Lucette, is it because I'm a threat to you somehow? Delora's expression shows me that she is hiding something. She has been hiding something since the beginning. Delora, I wouldn't put it that way. Lucette, did you curse me to teach me some sort of twisted lesson? Delora, I told you before, Princess, that the wicked were taught to be good through curses. Everything I've done is to help you. Delora's face is pale. I can see the anxiety in her eyes, as well as the guilt. She does not need to say anything else. Delora cursed me to hurt me. Yeah, and that's the other problem. People who are actually good are much more likely to look guilty when you call them out for something they did that was a mistake. Whereas, like, if Mithros were called out for something he had done that was a problem like this, he probably wouldn't look anxious or guilty. Because he wouldn't feel bad in the slightest. So Lucette is making an incorrect assumption, but I can see why she would. Also, Ice Army, you're right. It is pretty satisfying to see Lucette be like, hey, this was not cool. Because it really was poorly thought out. Lucette, thinking to herself, if she had wanted me to break it, she would have helped me rather than just criticize my every move. All that she has succeeded in is keeping me from my birthright, and those at the Marchand all agree with that sentiment. Fritz's route is not my favorite, but in certain moments I think Fritz's route has the most realistic Lucette. This moment when Lucette stands up to Delora is one of those moments. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that, Ice Starmie. Delora. Lucette, I'm serious. I really just wanted to help you. Lucette, thinking to herself. Serious? When she has done nothing to help me? The answer is obvious. And yeah, the other thing that is, Delora kind of dug her own grave here, not just with setting the curse in the first place, because it was poorly thought out, but I can see why she did it, but also the fact that she was so mean to Lucette after she did so, like, you know, tough love or whatever, it was a bad call. It was a bad call across the board, and now she's actually suffering consequences from that, which is not a bad thing, but it is a bad thing for Lucette. Delora, let me go back and actually reread that. Lucette, thinking to herself. Serious? When she has done nothing to help me? The answer is obvious. Delora does not want me to succeed. They are not different. They are the same. They are the same as everyone else. Lucette, thinking to herself. Sir Mithros was right. Out loud. I cannot believe I trusted you. I thought everyone here was different. I thought you were different. But I was wrong. I turned to leave. Delora. Lucette, wait! I make my way back to where I was earlier, making sure no one has followed me. I see that Sir Mithros stands firmly in the same place. As I draw nearer, I notice that his expression is concerned, his eyes gentle. Yeah, because he's fucking lying to you and he can fake emotions that he's not really feeling. Well, actually, no, you know what? He might genuinely be concerned about her. That is true. But I think when he looks at Lucette, he sees Lucette's mother, who he was in love with, so... Like, and he definitely... I definitely got the impression from the last route that his plan involves basically probably killing Lucette to bring back her mother, so... It's not Lucette that he cares about. Mithros. Are you alright? That was a little too... Well, he's probably doing a good job of faking it, so... I take a moment to assess my feelings. There is anger, but also resignation. Lucette, thinking to herself. Was I expecting him to be right all along? Varg. Rife night, huh? Lucette, shocked. Thinking to herself. Where did Varg come from? Mithros. I'm afraid our princess has learned the true nature of her Marchen friends. I did not have to speak with everyone to know. No one in that place has any reason to help me. It's naive to think that their kindness does not come with a price. Mithros. Come, let us leave this place at once. Sir Mithros holds out his hand for me, but I do not take it. I instinctively take a step back. Mithros. Is something wrong? Lucette. Where do you intend to take me? Mithros. To your rightful place. I will take you back to the palace. Lucette. How? No one there will believe you. And you knew who I was right from the beginning. Why did you not take me back to the palace earlier? Mithros. I apologize for the delay, but I was making preparations for your return. Lucette. Preparations? Yeah, Ice Starmie. Exactly. We are on the same wavelength there. Very much. Mithros. You will find out soon enough. Lucette, thinking to herself. Can I really trust Sir Mithros? At this point, I am not sure who I am supposed to trust anymore. Out loud. I would rather stay with Fritz. My eyes fly to Varg, but I do not sense any of Fritz's warmth on his face. His lips slowly curl into a smile when he meets my gaze. Varg. So the princess knows, huh? Lucette. Where is Fritz? Varg. Sleeping. Should I wake him for you? Lucette. I am not in the mood for jokes, Varg. I want Fritz back. Varg. You wound me, princess. You choose him over me. I can protect you better than he can. His smile becomes more malicious when he sees the irritation on my face. Lucette. I will be safer under Fritz's care. Varg. Oh, will you now? Because I'm confident you'll be safer under mine. Mithros. Varg, do not be disrespectful to the princess. Varg scoffs, but says nothing more when Sir Mithros turns to me. Mithros. Princess, it is of utmost importance that you are kept safely away from the Marchen, and the palace is the safest place I can think of. Yeah, Ice Stormy, he was making preparations, alright, not to Lusette's return, but to his plans, yep, 100%. He's like, see, I had to work with Alcaster to do the coup, so that I could then take over after his coup, and then, you know, set you up as the new ruler, but actually replace you with your mother. You know, preparations. Mithros. And also, your mother requires something of you. Lucette, thinking to herself. What is he talking about? Mother is dead. Out loud. Tell me what it is. Mithros. I cannot talk about this here. Once you return to the palace, I will tell you all that you need to know. Right now, I must return to the palace to make the final arrangements. Varg will escort you to the Levertons so that you may gather your things. At dawn, come to the palace gates. I will ensure your entrance and safety from there. Until tomorrow, Princess. Sir Mithros bows to me, but does not even spare Varg a glance as he walks away. I turn to look at Varg. It is still hard to believe that he and Fritz could possibly be the same person. His hair color, posture, and personality are all so different from Fritz's. Lucette, thinking to herself. How could they be the same person? Varg. Do I have something on my face? I close the distance between us with a single step. Varg. Watch yourself, Princess. I bite. Lucette. You do not. Varg. Excuse you? Varg looks slightly shocked by my straightforwardness, which is surprising in and of itself. Lucette. There is no reason for me to be afraid of you. Lucette, thinking to herself. If this is Sir Mithros' doing, then he won't let Varg hurt me. Varg. Mithros has a terrible habit of running his mouth, doesn't he? I ignore the flare of awareness in the pit of my stomach as I look closely at Varg's face. Lucette, thinking to herself. They are the same height and build, but that is not so strange. I lean in closer still so I can look past the shape of his mask. Lucette, thinking to herself. His eyes are the same. They are Fritz's eyes. I can no longer deny everything Sir Mithros and Delora have told me. The man standing before me is both Fritz and a stranger, one of the people I thought I knew best, but now know nothing about. Lucette. You are Fritz's curse, but I have not heard of a fairy tale that involves two people sharing one body. Varg. Yeah? Then you should really brush up on your fairy tales. Oh, I guess that would have been a little different. Yeah? You should really brush up on your fairy tales. Varg's voice is suddenly lower, a low growl in his throat. I feel a shiver run down my spine. I try to run away, only to have my attempt thwarted by Varg, who stops me by reaching out to grab my arm. Yep, so it's the Red Riding Hood, the wolf disguising himself as grandma. So the idea is that Fritz is the grandma in this situation, and Varg is the wolf side. But actually, Varg is just the wolfiness that exists in Fritz. So, I don't get the impression that the curse split him Jekyll Hyde style. Like, because if it did, because I just feel like, you know, Fritz is acting like his normal self. His normal self is just pretty upbeat and positive and not dark at all, which means that when you suppress all of that, he's suddenly surprisingly dark. That's my theory, anyway. Lucette. You cannot hurt me, even if you wanted to. Fritz would never. Varg. Oh, but I'm not Fritz. Your sad little puppy knight might worship the ground you walk on. He might sit and beg for even a single scrap of your attention. But guess what? I'm not your dog. He abruptly releases me and turns swiftly on his heels before walking away, footsteps smooth. For a moment, I stand there shocked, How could he insult Fritz in such a manner if they are the same person? How could a curse change Fritz into someone like Varg? I'm gonna lean towards defending Fritz. Because I kind of feel like, again, Varg is just the darker parts of Fritz, which means he's just frustrated. He's probably partly frustrated by the fact that Fritz has probably had a huge crush on the princess for ages, but has, like, never been willing to do anything about it, and instead will just bend over backwards and do anything for her, and... you know, he's not wrong. That's not always a healthy dynamic. Oh, yeah. Ice Starmie, I didn't even think of that. You could say that Lucette is Red Hood, obviously. Varg is the wolf. Again, like, obviously. Fritz is a mashup of the grandma and the huntsman. More the huntsman than the grandma. I had not even thought of that. I'd forgotten about the huntsman. Like, I had just forgotten the huntsman existed in Red Riding Hood, but that makes a lot of sense. So, the only sense in which he's got the grandma vibe is that, like, the wolf in disguise. But yeah, no, I can see that. Like, he works pretty well as the huntsman. Anyway. Yeah, you're right, Ice Starmie. It is definitely more like Jekyll and Hyde, but Jekyll and Hyde isn't a fairy tale, so I can see why they decided to go with Red Riding Hood. Also, they clearly wanted to lean into the wolf motif. Alright. Yeah, honestly, at this point, if I didn't know, if there wasn't the picture of the Red Hood, and Varg wasn't so incredibly wolfy, I would wonder if they had actually just decided to call Jekyll and Hyde a fairy tale. Anyway, I'm gonna try defending Fritz. Lucette. Fritz is not a dog. Varg. Really now, how much do you know about your precious knight? Lucette. Silence. I try to say something, but nothing comes out. It is true I do not know much about him at all. Varg. You know nothing about him, so stop pretending you do. Varg continues to walk forward ever so slowly, but I remain rooted in place. Eventually he whirls around and looks at me. Varg. Any day now, princess. I study his expression and body language. While his glaring might have made me nervous earlier, it does not faze me now. Lucette. All this time I've been uneasy about you, even though it is your mission to keep me safe. But if that's the case, why do you seek to frighten and overpower me at every turn? I raise my eyebrow at him, and then take a confident step forward. This time it is Varg that shirks away from me. Lucette. Does having to answer to Sir Mithros and Sir Alcaster chafe at you, Varg? Varg. Silence. Lucette. If it does, perhaps you are more similar to Fritz than you think. Varg's hands clench over his cane as he glowers at me. Varg. You always talk about that idiot! Do you know how sick I am of hearing about him? You want to know the truth, Lucette? You're wondering how two personalities can share the same body? Well, sure, magic was the catalyst, but the other part of the magic, well, that was all Fritz. Lucette. What? Varg. You think Fritz is some great honorable knight. Well, if that was true, his intentions would need to be good to the core, and then you know what? I wouldn't exist. Lucette, thinking to herself. What is he suggesting? Varg. Can't make something from nothing. Some part of your precious Fritz became me, princess. There was already something dark and twisted in his soul. The curse just brought it to life. And now, here I am. Lucette, I have a lot of opinions on this, but I want to go a little further before I stop to say them all. Lucette, no, you're wrong. Lucette, thinking to herself, Fritz, twisted and dark? I do not believe it. Varg, I think I know Fitzgerald a lot better than you do, Lucette. Don't think I act this way of my free will. At least, not completely. I have these compulsions. The spark in Varg's eyes is dangerous. His eyes suddenly seem out of focus as he stares at me, his gaze glassy. Varg, shocked. His expression suddenly twists, becoming something dark and anguished. He doubles over to the ground with a pained gasp. Varg, you are meant to be asleep. Okay, since there's about to be a, like, confrontation-y bit here, I'm gonna pause to say a bunch of my thoughts. Okay, first of all, Varg is not nearly as dark as he thinks he is. Second of all, everyone has a dark side. That's just humanity. Like, the whole point of Jekyll and Hyde is that it's not healthy to separate your dark urges out in... it's out as their own separate thing. Like, it's... like, everybody has good and bad in them, and you just gotta try and, like... you know, if you want to be good, just work towards being good. Like, mostly what I'm saying is, like, you know, people don't need to feel guilty for having bad thoughts. I feel strongly that it is only a problem if you have bad actions, right? Like, and so, of course there's something dark in Fritz. There's something dark in everyone. And the other thing I want to say is, I'm also pretty damn sure that the thing that is dark and twisted in Fritz is that he has, like, my strongest theory is that a lot of it comes from him having a huge crush on Lucette and feeling guilty about it. And feeling like he'd be betraying her, or that he's, like, feeling like he's betraying her by having romantic, and, you know, by having feelings for her. Romantic and probably otherwise, let's be real. You know the right answer, you think the right answer was to keep silent? Yeah, fair enough. I don't think I ever saw the choice indicator. So, I'm actually gonna... yeah, I'm gonna go back and redo that. From the save. So yeah, I think a lot of it is his, and a lot of, and, like, also the specific thing Lucette said, like, you keep trying to frighten and overwhelm me. I think it's because Varg is an expression of the frustration he had. Like, Varg is essentially frustrated by Fritz's passivity, and also maybe a little bit afraid of the power Lucette has over him. Like, Fritz himself is probably a little bit afraid of the power Lucette has over him. So as Varg, so when we have Varg, Varg is like, I don't want to deal with, the way I am choosing to deal with the power Lucette has over us is to try and flip the script and give myself power over her instead. That's how I read it. So yeah, Varg is you know, talking a big game, but, like, yo, in every other route, the worst he's ever done is, like, have to obey orders, which is part of the curse, or, be, you know, a little ominous and threatening. He has helped Lucette in previous routes more than he has hurt her. Or even caused her problems. Like, at the end of the... there will be a bit more explanation about the dark side from which Varg was created later, but most of the explanation is only given in the fan disc. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I like my theory, and I'm gonna stick with it until or unless I hear otherwise. Like, at the end of the day, it's normal. Like, people have... I just feel really strongly, like, it's the Jekyll and Hyde problem, right? Like, the whole, oh, there's some big, deep, dark secret thing and this darkness inside of me. It's like, you know, I'm trivializing it a little because I know some people deal with it a lot more strongly than others, and it can be a lot more difficult for some people than it is for other people. And as a person who is a little bit more like Fritz, I think I end up sympathizing with his end of it, because it's like, my default personality trends towards being, you know, nice and kind and helpful. So that's just easy for me because that's natural to me. But, like, I totally have a darker side, and I do a lot of LARPing, so, like, I've poked at that in games, and I've tried to play a character who is very dark, and, like, I have surprised people by telling them that I meant the character to be dark. They're like, really? Yeah, no, like, although to be fair, I also get a lot of, yeah, no, that tracks. That seems about as dark as your dark side would get. And to be fair, even then, I'm probably, like, keeping some limiters on that a Jekyll Hyde scenario like this would take off, but, like, I just think it's normal to have darker urges. Like, it's just part of the human experience. Okay, fair enough, Ice Stormy. You agree that Fritz's unrequited/suppressed crush on Lucette is part of the dark side, but not the whole story. Alright. Okay, and I am correct about Varg being angry at Fritz partly because he thinks Fritz is too passive. Which also makes sense why, like, Varg does a lot of trying to take initiative and then gets really frustrated that he now has to obey orders from someone else, because I feel like Varg's natural instinct would be to take the initiative much more. Which is also probably why he specifically does fuck with Myth and Alcaster's plans in other routes. Plus, like, it's made it clear that he has elements of Fritz to him, which means that since Fritz is 100% unquestionably in love with Lucette, Varg cannot not also be a little bit in love with Lucette. So yeah, it might be that the reason to say it might be that the correct choice was to say nothing, and I could see the reason for that being, by knee-jerk defending Fritz, it's kind of further denying Varg, and Varg is a part of Fritz, which means that for a, good ending love route, I imagine Lucette's gonna have to accept that, like, everything about Varg is a part of Fritz somewhere. Is like, and, maybe it wouldn't be a bad thing for him to be a little less, to come out the other side as Fritz, being a little less passive and a little more confident. Alright, so we're gonna try how could a curse change Fritz into someone like Varg after Varg did the whole bashing on Fritz thing, and try saying nothing. Lucette thinking to herself, why does he have that opinion of Fritz? If anything, Varg is the animal. Fritz is twice the man he is. Varg continues to walk forward ever so slowly, but I remain rooted in place. Eventually, he whirls around and looks at me. Varg, any day now, princess. I study his expression and body language. While his glaring might have made me nervous earlier, it does not faze me now. Lucette, all this time I've been uneasy about you, even though it is your mission to keep me safe. But if that's the case, why do you seek to frighten and overpower me at every turn? I raise my eyebrow at him and then take a confident step forward. This time it is Varg that shirks away from me. And this was what made me think that, like, part of it is he's trying to have the upper hand because he always feels like Fritz never has the upper hand around her. Lucette, does having to answer to Sir Mithros and Sir Alcaster chafe at you, Varg? Varg, silence. Lucette, I suspect it does. I know that Fritz sometimes struggles with their commands as well. Unlike you, however, Fritz does not take his frustrations out on other people. Okay, yeah, I like that. So it's like, that's a little bit, that makes sense, because that's a more even approach, rather than just saying, oh, Fritz is nothing like you. She's like, you and Fritz have this similar baseline trait. It's just that Fritz doesn't take his frustrations out on other people, which is, like, exactly the difference, right? Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about having a dark side, but not really that dark. Like, taking out your frustrations on other people. That's really something you should try not to do, because it's not fair to the other person, usually. But, if you have your dark side more pushed forward more prominently, you might just lean into doing that because, like, you have the part of your brain that says, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that, turned off. Right. Exactly, Ice Stormy, that's what I'm thinking too. Like, saying nothing is the right choice because it means Lucette is coming to terms with the fact that Fritz has a dark side, whereas defending Fritz would seem like denying the truth that Fritz has a dark side. So yeah, no, in retrospect, Ice Starmie, I totally agree with you. I think the only reason I went for defend Fritz was because I felt like I was a little concerned that maybe staying silent would make it sound like, would be like acknowledging that what Varg said was right, but like seeing that she also defends him anyway in this, it makes a lot of sense. He does not lash... Okay, so, Lucette. Unlike you, however, Fritz does not take his frustrations out on other people. He does not lash out at others by scaring them. And he certainly does not protect people by stalking them from the shadows. Varg's hands clench over his cane as he glowers at me. Yeah, okay, I think this is going to be the same, where Varg flips out and is like, you always talk about that idiot! Etc. So I'm going to skip forward, because this should just take us to the next unread thing. So yeah, I'll go back a little. Yeah, I'll go back to here. This seems... So we're not going to repeat all of it, but I'll repeat from here. And gosh, I'm having this urge to like apologize for how long I took to take out to do my own little side notes, but then I'm like, that's part of the point of streaming, is like I'm here to like give my own thoughts and share my own experience of playing the game, so... And I am right that I'm liking this route a lot. I think the dark side thing is kind of cool in that it feels like the way they're dealing with it is to actually lean towards accepting the dark side as part of having Fritz and people around him accept that his dark side is part of him. Yeah, Ice Army, that was exactly my concern. What'd you do? Anyway, so Varg. There was already something dark and twisted in his soul. The curse just brought it to life. And now, here I am. Lucette. No, you're wrong. Thinking to herself. Fritz? Twisted and dark? I do not believe it. Varg. I think I know Fitzgerald a lot better than you do, Lucette. Don't think I act this way of my free will. At least, not completely. I have these compulsions. The spark in Varg's eyes is dangerous. His eyes suddenly seem out of focus as he stares at me, his gaze glassy. Varg, shocked. His expression suddenly twists, becoming something dark and anguished. He doubles over to the ground with a pained gasp. Varg, You are meant to be asleep! Lucette, whom is he talking to? Himself, obviously. Oh, interesting. I really like this visual. Because, you know, the totally different posture. You gotta have it. I watch in horror as Varg's body is eclipsed by a slow-moving shadow. The darkness envelops his body, and all I can do is stare in shock as his figure fades into a black silhouette. Before I can decide whether to go to his side or not, the shadows tumble like a falling cloak. I immediately recognize the man standing before me. Lucette. Fritz! Fritz. Princess? What are we doing here? Lucette. You don't remember? Fritz places a hand on his head and cringes. I see him stumble slightly as he slowly rises. Fritz. I'm not sure. I remember falling asleep. Then there was this distant pain that woke me up. And now I'm suddenly here with you. Lucette, thinking to herself. Did Varg's emotions somehow trigger Fritz into waking? Fritz. I'm sorry, Princess. My mind is a little foggy. I don't understand what's going on right now. Fritz shakes his head before turning to look at me with a tired, faint smile. Fritz. Perhaps I'll feel better once I get some rest. Lucette. Silence. You're right. Let's go back. I feel the tenseness come back into my body as I remember all of the things that transpired at the Marchen. The building is dim at night and looks more like a place of shadows than anything else. I clench my hands into fists and try not to shake. Lucette, thinking to herself, they intended to hurt me. They wanted me to suffer. My heart hardens into something cold and sharp as ice. Lucette, thinking to herself, their kindness was a lie. Mother taught me people were like this. I should have listened to her. More accurately, someone who was trained by and totally in love with your mother, reinforced her shitty emotional abuse and gaslighting to make you feel that way. But, you know, potato, potato. I'm sure she'll figure it out eventually. I finally turn away from the Marchen with conviction. I am not meant to stay there. I must go back to where I belong. Memory. King Gennaro. Lucette, are you alright? Lucette. Why wouldn't I be? King Gennaro. Silence. Your personal maid left last night. Lucette. Yes. King Gennaro. Is it true that you caught her trying to steal one of your dolls? Lucette. Why would I lie about that? King Gennaro. I'm sorry. Lucette. Why? King Gennaro. Because she betrayed your trust. Lucette. Impossible. I did not trust her in the first place. King Gennaro. But wasn't she with you for years? Lucette. Yes. King Gennaro. And you are not at all saddened by her change of heart? Lucette. She saw the opening to take something from me and took it. I am not surprised nor sad. It was to be expected. All people use others to take things that they want. Yep, and here is King Gennaro trying to reach out to Lucette. But Lucette has been thoroughly brainwashed, both literally and figuratively, by her mother. Right? Stormy, I was also thinking that. Like, Lucette, why did you not just tell Fritz? Or, like, say, hey, while we're walking back, I have something that I should probably tell you. Like, you know what it's like to have secrets kept from you. Anyway. So yes, King Gennaro, memory of King Gennaro, realizing that Lucette has been raised very wrong. And frankly, she probably did trust the maid, and probably the maid didn't try to steal her dolls. It's probably all her mother's manipulations. Including manipulating Lucette into thinking she didn't feel that way. Or that she did feel the way she's saying that she does her father. King Gennaro. Silence. Fritz. Princess, why are we here? Lucette thinking to herself. He really doesn't remember anything about last night. I guess his memories must truly be separate from Varg's. Fritz. I've been trying to remember, but my memories feel like they're slipping through my fingers. Lucette. Silence. Fritz. Why won't you talk to me, Princess? If I said or did something wrong yesterday, I'm sorry. Lucette, tell the boy what happened! Be honest with him! Like you're upset that people haven't been with you. Okay, maybe she will. Okay. Lucette. You did not do anything wrong, Fritz. He was the one at fault, not you. Fritz. He? When I open my mouth to tell him about Varg, I find that the words are stuck in my throat. Maybe it's... No, I was gonna say, maybe it's part of the curse, but then I'm like, no, because other cursed are immune from curses. Curse restrictions. So nope, Lucette just does not have a good reason other than she has been goaded back into her intrinsic lack of trust of everyone and everything around her, which... I really thought that at least Fritz she trusted. I just... tell the boy! Okay, fair. Maybe not fair, but I see where you get there. I turn away after a few moments, the gloom settling back on my shoulders. Lucette thinking to herself. But after hearing what Varg said, I do not have the courage to tell him. Not yet. Varg. You think Fritz is some great honorable knight. Well, if that was true, his intentions would need to be good to the core. And then you know what? I wouldn't exist. Can't make something from nothing. Some part of your precious Fritz became me, princess. There was already something dark and twisted in his soul. The curse just brought it to life, and now here I am. Again, Varg is not as big and bad as he tries to pretend he is, though, and I stand by that. Fritz. Why won't you look at me? Lucette. Oh no, because, yep, I was right. It's because she's been pushed back into her mistrustful programming, essentially, and that means that now she's even doubting the one person she thought she could trust. Lucette, thinking to herself, have I been a fool to so blindly trust Fritz all of this time, too? Fritz. Princess. Mithros. Princess, you are here. Fritz. Shocked. Fritz. Sir Mithros. Mithros. The preparations are complete. You are now free to enter your old home. Sir Mithros pushes open the gates and walks through. I take a deep breath and then follow after him. I have so many emotions inside of me right now that I cannot even begin to parse through them. Before I take more than a few steps forward, Fritz's fingers curl around my wrist. Fritz. Princess, what is happening? The look in his eyes is familiar. He wears the same concern and worry for me that he always does. He seems every bit himself, but he is no longer the same person to me. Lucette. I'm going home, Fritz. I pull my arm away from his grasp and follow Sir Mithros into the palace without looking back. No! Backsliding so much! Yeah. Oh, and this is gonna launch right into one of the memories that her mother probably erased. I mean, frankly, her mother probably erased the memory of talking to her father about it. In fact, I bet her father did try to reach out to her throughout her childhood more than she thinks he did. Her mother just was like, nope, can't have that memory. Oh, it's really upsetting how much her mother fucked with her memories. Anyway, so this is going to open with another young Lucette flashback, which is almost certainly going to show how much she loved that maid, which is exactly why her mother, like, almost certainly manipulated events to send her away. Alright, but anyway, that is it for tonight's stream, and I will not be streaming next week. It's Labor Day, Labor Day weekend, and I do have plans on Monday, so no stream next week, but I should be back the week after that with Chapter 6 of Fritz's Route. Thank you so much for hanging out. As always, Ice Army, thank you so much. Thank you, Six Card, for hanging out. Thank you, Johnny One Take. Thank you... Was that everyone who actually was in chat? If I forgot anyone, so sorry. Thank you if you were here. Thank you if you were just here and lurking. And thank you if you're watching this later. I appreciate all of you very, very much. Hope you have enjoyed my long ramblings about my feelings and opinions on Fritz. I think he is still my favorite, as I expected him to be, and I am really liking this plot, and other than it's really frustrating that Mithros is fucked with her head this much. I really hope that maybe she'll figure out next chapter when she walks in, and I mean, the fact that it's called Resurrection, she's gonna find out Mithros' plan, and I'm sure she's gonna walk into a coup already having happened, and probably will realize Mithros isn't really a dude to be trusted either. Alright, bye!